The Tigers are hitting the road once again in the Tiger Kickoff show. Well, 3 of them are hopping on another plane to go cover them. But first, we get to break down what could be the back-breaking matchup in Mizzou's playoff hopes here in South Carolina. It's a battle of the Columbias, and we've got the Columbian Missourian crew right here to break it all down. Adam Busak, Davis Wilson, Amelia Hurley, this is Jacob Siciliano, as we've got a full show today talking all about the two Columbias in a season right now that has the Tigers ranked in the college football playoff poll right next to South Carolina and what is going to be a very exciting Saturday afternoon. Adam, how excited are you for this matchup? I know you'll be in Denver, and these two right here will be going out to South Carolina to cover.
Yeah, always a fun matchup when the Tigers and the Gamecocks are playing each other. Missouri on a 5-game winning streak in the series, have not lost in South Carolina. Columbia, South Carolina in the Drinkwitz tenure. So Missouri, I think, trending in the right direction going into this game in a lot of ways, but it's going to be a fun one. 2 ranked teams. Anytime you get a ranked-on-ranked matchup, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, 5 straight Mayor's Cups for the Missouri Tigers under Eli Drinkwitz. And there was a quote last year. It was the return of the rivalry last week in Oklahoma. But Darius Robinson last year said after Missouri beat South Carolina here at Faurot Field that 5 straight rivalry wins, bringing home the Mayor's Cup, it's not a rivalry anymore. Do you think that's a little different this year, Davis?
I do, yeah. I think South Carolina is really good. It's probably the best, I mean, it's hard to think of, but I think it's probably the best South Carolina team, in my opinion, in those 5 years. I think this is a really talented team. The defense might be the best in the whole country. It's going to be a really tough game for Missouri, but I think that this is a really good opportunity for South Carolina to prove that it is a rivalry.
And Amelia, where are our emotions going into this game? This standpoint in the season with the Tigers right now with 2 losses, a third could be a backbreaker. This is a South Carolina team that beat down Texas A&M in prime time. Texas A&M was a team that very handily put down Missouri in College Station. Where are your emotion levels for this Saturday at?
This is going to be a great game. I think both teams are going to be really hungry for a win. It's, like they said, a ranked-on-ranked matchup. Both teams really need this win to keep some playoff hopes alive. And then this game, it is really a rivalry, and it's not just for sports fans. I used to cover local government, and I covered Mayor Barbara Buffalo, and she was a big fan of the Mayor's Cup. So, I mean, it really translates into the community as a whole. So this is going to be a really good game to watch.
Yeah, speaking about the Mayor's Cup and speaking about those communities in general, it's called the Mayor's Cup for a reason. Most of you already know Columbia, South Carolina, and Columbia, Missouri. They get to do battle every year here in the SEC. So let's have a little fun with it. I've prepared a couple questions for y'all. We're going to go rapid fire. You 3 have 5 seconds to answer each question. So it's very quick. It has to do with the South Carolina and Missouri universities, or it has to do with the towns themselves. Are you guys ready? Do you understand the rules of the game?
I understand the rules.
Davis always understands.
Davis is locked in.
Davis is our trivia king over there, along with Adam Busak. Are we ready?
We're on the same team.
Yeah, we get to team up.
Yeah, everyone's Amelia too. Amelia.
Yeah,
Amelia's
let me
too.
join.
No Revolutionary War questions this time, Amelia.
Thank you, please.
All right. First question: which town has the highest population?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
South Carolina is correct. 142,000 compared to the 130,000 in Columbia, Missouri. So it is very close, only a separation of 12,000, but 1 for 1 so far.
Right.
Which town was founded first?
South Carolina.
South Carolina, perfect, right on. 1786. If you know anything about how, America was settled, that should be probably a pretty easy question right there. This one will go in the same suit. Which university was founded first?
I want to say South Carolina.
I'm not so sure.
I kind of want to say Missouri, but I'm not so sure either.
5 seconds on the
Well,
clock.
I'm getting outnumbered here. We can go Missouri if you want.
Missouri is incorrect. South Carolina was founded in 1801. Missouri founded in 1839. So far we are 2 for 3. One more question. Which team has more wins all time? South Carolina football or Missouri football?
I think this one's Missouri.
I kind of like Missouri here.
I had the Winsipedia page up like 10 minutes ago.
I was gonna say, I trust
Answer
you
this
because you're
question.
writing about this. Say Missouri then, I trust you.
I don't trust me.
Missouri is correct.
There you go.
There we go.
Como has seen 670 Tiger wins. South Carolina has only seen 607 Gamecock wins. Sticking here with football, which team has more SEC East championships? Obviously no longer split into divisions in the SEC, but while they existed, which one had more, South Carolina or Missouri?
I guess it's Missouri.
Yeah,
Missouri,
that's gotta be
Yeah.
It is Missouri, surprisingly. Even though South Carolina joined the SEC in the 1990s, Missouri joined in the 2010s. Missouri has 2 SEC East championships. South Carolina only one, which came in 2010. All right, so we've only had one incorrect answer so far. I'm going to give you one redemption on that incorrect answer. You can go perfect if you can get both of these 2 questions right. It's our bonus question here today. Como is the infamous nickname for Columbia, Missouri. What is the nickname for South Carolina?
For the state of South Carolina?
For
city.
the city of Columbia in South Carolina.
I don't even have a clue.
Yeah. Does it have anything to
The
do
capital
Can we
city.
get a hint?
Coca-Cola.
with the Soda City?
Soda City is
That it?
correct.
No way! Oh my gosh! Whoa!
So-
Okay,
so
Trivia
the-
King! Wow!
The history with
That'll
it
work.
is that back in the day, Columbia was for some reason shortened to Cola, and obviously Coca-Cola
Sure.
is well known as it is. So
good
they nicknamed it Soda City. And yes, Davis, very impressive. And while I was finding that information, I found out a secondary nickname for the Missouri Tigers in Como. The Athens of Missouri, which has to do with the architecture
columns.
here, the columns in Columbia, Missouri. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that little bit there. Let's talk about now kind of the reality of what a trip to Columbia, South Carolina means for the Tigers. Playoff implications on the line. Starting with you, Adam, can you just reiterate how much this week means to the hopes and goals of a Missouri team that, like we've mentioned many times on this show, has had playoff implications and hopes since day one?
Yeah, I mean, Missouri is not, as much as a lot of people want to put them to bed, Missouri is not quite dead yet in the playoff race. Now, they're hanging on by a thread. It's very, very close to the end of the line. Missouri already with 2 losses. I think with 3 losses, you can officially cut them off. Now, Heather Dinch from ESPN had an argument last week on SportsCenter talking about how a 3-loss SEC team can still get into the playoff. And I understand where she's coming from. I don't think Missouri's that team. I think a 3-loss Alabama, for example, could still find their way in. But I don't think Missouri's that team because they don't have the quality of wins. Now, speaking of quality of wins, every ranked win is important. And for Missouri, it is paramount that they pick up this road victory because this is the best game that they have left on their schedule. If they're going to climb what is it now? 11 spots they have to get in order to get into the playoff picture. They need this ranked win, and they need 2 more after that.
Because the SEC is so tightly bunched, there is also a path for the Missouri Tigers to find themselves in an SEC championship game with some help. In the modern era of college football playoff, even when it was 4 teams, no SEC champion has ever been left out. So, Davis, is this paramount to the Tigers potentially keeping those hopes alive? I know it's a long shot. A lot of things need to happen for the Tigers to find themselves in a championship games, but 3 wins kind of rules them out completely.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that. A lot has to happen. It's kind of like a puzzle. There's a lot of pieces that have to fall into place. I think that if Missouri's going to make the 12-team playoff, it's probably going to have to be an at-large bid. And just because, it's unlikely that all those things will happen and they'll find themselves in the SEC championship game. But, if you want an at-large bid, like Adam said, this win is huge this game is huge because if you get a win, I mean, this is probably the second best team on Missouri's schedule. We saw South Carolina dismantle Texas A&M. So by that logic, it's Alabama and South Carolina, the 2 best teams on the schedule. So if Missouri can get a win here on the road in a really tough place to play, I think that sets them up really well.
Yeah, the Tigers 1-2 in road games so far this year. Amelia, this could be the Tigers' only their 2nd ranked win of the year. Does that have any implications on just the way Tiger fans might be feeling about this season?
Yeah, if Missouri can have a strong win in this game or even a close win, I think that would be a huge thing for the fan base. It's going to be a really difficult game. Williams-Brice Stadium is no joke. It's going to be a really tough environment, and we've seen how the Tigers have performed in other tough environments this season. So this is really going to be a test of can you bounce back. And it's going to have really big implications, not just for a playoff, but for the SEC Championship. ESPN this week put out some analytics saying that Mizzou, of the teams that still have a chance of qualifying, has the lowest chance. It's just 1%. So it's not real high for them. Like Davis said, so many pieces have to fall into place in this perfect puzzle for them to get into either the championship or the playoffs, and it starts with this weekend getting a win.
So Amelia is telling me there's a shot. Amelia, that's what she's saying. She's saying there's a shot. Not knocked out yet. And the way you make that happen when there's a 1% chance is big plays. And that's where we're going next. Adam's Big Plays. All right, welcome inside Adam's Big Plays. Two gentlemen here in fall quarter zips. One big brain. That's that man right there. Adam, what do you got for us today?
Well, first of all, I just want to mention the quarter zips. Yours is looking very nice today.
Oh, yours is dapper as well. Very fall
that.
colors. It matches your shoes that
Thank
you can't see on screen, but yes,
they're
right
there.
Very,
they match.
Very well matched.
I've got a whole drive here for you, Jacob, and so I'm going to get it started playing right here. But this is the 2-minute drive for the Missouri Tigers. See, Drew Pine, this is the best drive that he's put together as a Tiger so far. And even from the first play of the drive, you see him firing already. Theo Weiss making a catch, making a good run at the end there. He's going to look deep once again. This is a level of inspiration that we haven't seen out of Drew Pine in quite a long time. He, gets a bit of a penalty call, so I believe they get moved up here off of that play. And you're going to see that running through very slowly here, that penalty. Missouri, every single play of this 2-minute drive, picks up more yardage. Just a little chunk play. This is something that Missouri struggled with a lot during the Drinkwitz era. The 2-minute offense hasn't been phenomenal for the Tigers. We even saw that in the first half. It's something Missouri really struggled with. Here, you see Pine taking a sack, but quickly moving up to the line to get the spike off. A minute and a half really to play with. And once again, he's looking deep. This time it's going to be down the left side. It's going to be Luther Burden. He has a defender fall down there, but really a really big catch for Burden. I think this is being underplayed. Getting that far down the field that quickly, super, super important. And then, of course, it sets up the play of the game, I think, in a lot of people's eyes, the touchdown to Theo Weiss. Let's watch this one. Oh, and what a stellar catch that was. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Missouri getting the toe tap right on the end there. Theo Weiss in the revenge game, coming up with the biggest catch of his collegiate career. How about those Tigers?
And you see that 2-minute offense, like you said, coming to fruition. The question will be, can the Tigers continue that? And what players will continue that going forward? Our next segment, Who's Cooking? All right, welcome into Who's Cooking, where we hold pot and a ladle. Only time in Missouri history where we break down who's going to boom, and we pass this over to Mr. Busak. We ask him which player he thinks is going to excel in this matchup for the Missouri Tigers against the South Carolina Gamecocks. Who you got for us, Adam?
Jacob, there's a lot of directions that I can go here. And I think there's a lot of players on the offense that I'm excited about. And I am going to stick with the offense. I think Missouri's defense is going to be the key to the game for the Tigers, but I'm going to stick with the offense for my player who's going to boom. It's maybe a little bit under the radar pick here, but Drew Pine, he had a very, very stellar second half in the last game for the Tigers against Oklahoma. I expect more of the same from him. We know he has it in him, so I just want to see him continue to play some very good football. I'm rocking with Drew Pine. Drew Pine's cooking, and what is he cooking? He's cooking fried chicken. Cooking the Gamecocks.
There you go.
I like it.
Makes sense.
Good path there. Good neural link.
Thank you.
That's why we have Adam's Big Plays. It's just can't get
All right, well, I'm going to stay on the offensive side of the ball and cheat a little bit. I'm going to go with the entire offensive line.
You're really holding that pot there.
I'm holding it pretty good.
Protecting the football.
Yeah.
3 points of contact.
That's right, yeah.
Especially
Try
after
to make me fumble. I bet you
especially
can.
after last week.
Anyway, go with the offensive line because if Adam's player wants to cook, I mean, the offensive line's got to keep him upright. This defensive line for South Carolina is ridiculous. They got two guys on the edge, Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart, who are both I think they combined for 16 sacks maybe this year, which is pretty nuts. I mean, and then they have kind of a stable of really experienced defensive tackles on the inside, which is going to, be a priority, especially because Connor Tollison is out at center and Drake Heismeyer's in. So I'm taking that offensive line. And for my food, we looked this up just a second ago. Hush puppies, apparently a big deal in South Carolina. I'm a big fan of hush puppies, and this makes sense because those boys up front are some big dogs, okay? And they're going to have to play big, and I'm going with the hush puppy.
You got to eat. When we were trapped in that airport in Charlotte, had some fantastic hush puppies. I'll tell you, they'll fill you up. So you got to keep those.
We're flying back into Charlotte.
That we are.
So we'll see how that goes.
You got to get those big boys full. I think the hush puppies can do the job. Amelia, what you got cooking for us?
So I am going to choose Zion Young. We're going to go the other side of the ball. I spoke with his father this week, and something that he let me know was that Zion Young's dream team to play for as a child was South Carolina. So it's going to be a really interesting game. He's always wanted to play in Williams-Brice Stadium, and he's not going to be playing as a Gamecock, but he's going to be playing as a Tiger. He's on a really good streak right now. He's had some really good games, starting with Auburn. Well, really starting with Texas A&M. He had the only sack in that game, but Auburn, he really had this big comeback. He obviously had the scoop and score last week. I have a feeling this momentum is going to keep going. He's going to have a big game. And I'm going to choose for my food, I'm going to go sweet tea. I don't necessarily know if this is going to be a sweet victory for the Tigers. I think it's going to be a sweet victory for someone. And so I'm going to put the sweet tea as my dish.
All right, I like it, Amelia. Last week, we saw, obviously, Zion Young and the defensive line go off the 8. The defense forced 4 turnovers. But like you mentioned, Drew Pine, he threw 3 touchdowns. He looked great. 2 of them went to Theo Weiss Jr. It was a revenge game for Theo Weiss. He had 4 receptions, the 70 yards. But I'm looking for Luther Burden here. And again, we've been saying this. We've been waiting for Luther to kind of have his game. But we're going on the assumption that if the Tigers are going to win this game, it's going to have to be gritty. And I think Luther Burden is the type of guy who can go in there, get yourself a couple first downs, maybe that long, explosive touchdown we've been waiting for. We've seen Drew Pine seem to get a little bit more comfortable in the second half in the fourth quarter with airing that ball out and getting it to his playmaker receivers and Weiss and Burden. And I think it was Weiss last week. I think it's going to be Burden this week. And I mentioned how it's going to be gritty for the Tigers if they want to take home this win. That's why I'm going with grits as my dish of what I'm cooking here for the Missouri Tigers, because if they do take this home, it's going to have to be one of those defensive games. Drew Pine is going to have to play well, not turn the ball over, and the Tigers are going to have to eke out a gritty one. But let's talk here about what we think is going to happen in this game in our score predictions. So we'll start with Adam. We talked about the players who you think will excel. But will the Tigers excel over South Carolina in Columbia, South Carolina?
I think they will, Jacob. Now, I don't necessarily know how much the numbers back me up, and you can read a story that I'm putting out tomorrow in tomorrow's edition of Tiger Kickoff about Eli Drinkwitz's road record. Spoiler alert, it's really bad. Even by SEC standards, he's one of the worst coaches on the road in the conference. However, for whatever reason, that hasn't been the case in South Carolina. He's 3-0 there, looking to be 4-0. I think Missouri gets it done. I've got the Tigers 24-21.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that Missouri can win this game, but I just am really concerned for them. I've talked already a lot about South Carolina's defense, specifically the defensive line. I think the offensive line did a pretty good job against Oklahoma. Oklahoma has some dudes up front too. But this is a different level for me, and I think that, they probably have the best defense that Missouri will see all year. I think it's overall probably a better unit even than Alabama. The talent on this team is ridiculous. They're really well coached. I'm worried about that because they get after the quarterback, and if Drew Pine's in there, we saw him break off a couple runs, but he's not the fastest guy in the world. So, if you don't have Brady Cook back there who can extend plays a little bit, I'm worried about, Drew Pine's escapability, and then also this is a pretty good team at stopping the run too. So I just worry about, where the offense is going to come from. I have South Carolina 28-17.
And Brady Cook right now, he's listed as doubtful. So there is a chance he was listed as doubtful against Alabama, was able to come in and play. But like Drinkwood said on Tuesday, they have a lot of confidence in Drew Pine, and they're going to prepare with Drew Pine as their starting quarterback for South Carolina. Does that go into your decision here in your score prediction, Amelia?
Honestly, not so much, surprisingly. I think Missouri as a whole, as a team, just has not really performed well this season at those high-pressure away games, and as we've seen in Texas A&M and in Alabama. So that's kind of what I'm basing my score prediction off of. I just think that Williams-Brice Stadium is going to be just as tough as an environment. And if the Tigers haven't really had a full shift turnaround in that way, it could be pretty similar. I think that, like Davis said, this is the best defense that the offense is going to play against. And with, Pine, assuming Pine does fill in, and then also Heismeyer, who's going to be going in at center for the first time for like a full game, there might be some unfamiliarity there. I think it's definitely going to be a defensively dominated showdown. And so I got my score prediction at 24-13 Gamecocks.
I'm taking the Gamecocks as well, and it just goes on to the trends of this year. In ranked matchups on the road, the Tigers have not done well. They got shut out by Alabama, they got blown out by A&M, and you're traveling to Columbia, South Carolina, and Williams-Brice Stadium, which is known as another loud, hectic, crazy environment, just like Kyle Field, just like Bryant-Denny. They say the lesson, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it, and I'm doing that with my score prediction here. Because the Tigers, they have not fared well on the road in these loud environments this year. And again, it was exciting to see what we saw from Drew Pine. And he talked about how awesome it was to have 62,000, a sold-out crowd behind him. But now he's going to have the exact opposite in a hostile environment with one of the best defenses in the country trying to pick him off and take that ball away. And we saw Drew Pine, although he probably was not completely prepared. He didn't know he was the starter going into Alabama. But I just see too many parallels here, and I have to take the Gamecocks. I've got them winning this one 27-17. So 3 Gamecocks, 1 Tiger, and Adam Busack. We'll see how things even out here. You see the score predictions right there. They're all ahead of me. These Missourian people, they're very intelligent at 8-1. Adam could join me at 8-2 this upcoming week if Missouri were to fall. Well, I hope you had some fun listening to the Tiger Kickoff show today. We got some insight into Adam's big plays. We talked about kind of the history of the Columbias, in Carolina and Missouri. And man, those playoff implications, they might just come down to this game this Saturday at 3 p.m. Are you guys excited about your trip? I know you're going out to see a wedding, Adam. Is that right?
Yeah, I won't be covering this one, but I hope you guys have fun without me.
We're excited.
We're excited.
Not going to get stuck in Charlotte again?
We hope not.
Fingers crossed.
We hope not.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for tuning into this episode of the Tiger Kickoff Show. Again, every Thursday, every Monday, we preview and review all the things you need to know about Missouri football. We hope you have a great Thursday night.